Truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, there it is. Winston Churchill. Good morning. Welcome. This is On Topic, the flat earth equation. It's a beautiful thing. I need a chalkboard behind me and have it presented that way. Okay, anyways, what I am going to do is just kind of go over some things, and let me make sure I've got everything set up correctly. Okay, I do. Good. Let's just go ahead and transition there. Now, what I'm making fun of in a little bit, it's not really making fun of, it's just, I guess I am making fun of it a little bit, but it's not like a harmful one. It's something that you would see on every flat earth video that goes to a commercial. Not every one of them, but quite often, because I see this stupid trailer. It's a masterclass official trailer by Chris Hadfield, who's an astronaut, and man, every time I hear this, it kills me.
The rocket equation, it's a beautiful thing.
All right. What's interesting, it's got 4.4 million views for a trailer, for an official trailer, but only 4.5 thousand likes and 145 dislikes. The interesting thing about that, 145 dislikes isn't that much. I think I've even gotten 145 dislikes, or at least more than that, on a video. And my audio might be a bit low. I have to keep adjusting it. All right, you should be able to hear me better. I'm sorry about that. All right. Okay. John Y, a year ago, why so many dislikes? And he's got 336 likes. But like, this man is an absolute legend, blah, blah, blah. We can't go back a year to see how many dislikes it has, but 145 dislikes. This is published on April 21st, 2018. So can you imagine a year and maybe 3 months going by, and over that time only 145 likes? But that's not even that, because John Y, a year ago, why so many dislikes? That means it would have been August 2018. So from April 24th, so pretty much May, June, July, August, 3 months, it probably had less than 145 likes. So why would someone comment that there's, why are there so many dislikes? No one's going to comment like, hey, this video that probably has, okay, let's say in a span of 15 months divided by 4.4 million, divided by 15, let's say 300,000 views at that time. 300,000 views with maybe about 15 dislikes. Say that was what happened in August of 2018. There's 300,000 views instead of 4.4 million, and there's 15 dislikes out of 145. Enough for someone to comment on why are there so many dislikes. The problem is, well, no one would comment about that, about 15 dislikes with 300,000 views. So obviously YouTube adjusted the like to dislike for this particular trailer. All right, let's move away from that. So what I noticed, a couple of days ago, and this is Invicta. I am subscribed to them. They had some kind of interesting stuff I saw previously, so I subscribed, and now they are attacking Flat Earth, which is so interesting because Winston Churchill, like him or hate him, when he has that quote about truth being incontrovertible, malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, there it is. That is a great point for what Flat Earth, people who figure out the globe lie, end up going through, and it is quite amazing. It is, and the theory that I have, and I will have to show the main monitor instead. Let's go and show the basically what you see on the title. Where? All right, here we go. And I'll go ahead and hide myself so you guys can see it a little bit better. Where is it? All right, so this is the flat Earth equation. Earth equals flat. And what the globe, GLOBE, is, it's been about gaslighting, lying, oppressiveness, boring, and exploitive. There's plenty of things like that going on around the globe, that's for sure. But in the flat, in the plane, no, not so much. When it's flat, it's freeing, it's loving, it's amazing, and it's transcendent. I did not get to where I was within the globe. I got to where I was by being flat. And you probably won't get to where I'm at. I mean, maybe you will. You will eventually. I'm pretty sure of that. Not necessarily here and now, but maybe not now. But yes, if you want to think of it in these terms, you'll see it that way. You'll see a lot of people who are flat saying that the earth is flat. They're going to abide by how freeing it is, how loving it is, how amazing it is, and how transcendent it is. And everything within the globe being pretty much the opposite. It's a very, very good adversary, I would say. I mean, think about how amazing it is to have the majority of the population on Earth believing the authorities and the establishment, all the troubles going on in the world are always being led by them. Nothing changes. We have less freedoms. Our planet is being exploited, not just the human race, but of all the animal and plant kingdoms, even the minerals. And they tout how all this is a problem of global warming, climate change, etc. Yet they do absolutely nothing about it. They tell you, hey, give us money and vote for us, and we'll change all this that's going on. And that's been going on for decades, and yet we still don't have sinking islands. We don't have water being flooding Seattle. I remember when I used to live in Seattle, there used to be tons of paintings of Seattle and the Space Needle being underwater. There's a lot of stuff going on that we're being presented with, but the underlying fact is the people who find flat Earth, or that the Earth is flat, they have to pretty much find these little pieces of nuggets that have been passed down by the authoritative establishment figures and the minions of those to find out that, hey, this doesn't add up. I mean, I'm doing the math here and this isn't adding up. So let's look at the math again and see what the problem is. And we're looking at it from a point of view is, okay, let's look at it exactly how it started. Let's go back into the past, in the history books, his storybooks, and see what they wrote and how we can figure it out. Because back in 500 BC, they didn't have telescopes. They didn't have binoculars. Not until maybe the 15th or 16th century were those available, and they weren't very good, but they were available. Things didn't seem to change. But fast forward to now, where we have technology and cameras that like the Nikon P900 and P1000, if that's correct, where you got these amazing zoom levels where you can see ships going over the horizon, are not being described as it was back in the BC era. Now, when you watch the let me see, when you watch the Invicta video, and I'll probably get a strike if I play it back, so I'm not. It's pretty much the usual pieces, and probably the first thing that you'll see is that this is the proof. The ship's going over the horizon. That it goes down like this, and it doesn't go like this. Yet when you look at let's see, P900 ship's horizon. I don't even really need to show this. You can go and watch it yourself. Any of these that you want to see. But beyond that, it's mostly just seeing what the mainstream shows, right? For here, example, Stephen Hawking and Three Birds. There's this channel. I mean, I did multiple videos on this, but look, Flat Earth Crushed by Discovery Channel, 3.78 million views, and people think, okay, this is proof that Flat Earth is crushed. I created a video, the same description, Flat Earth Crushed by Discovery Channel. I didn't get 3.78 million views. I got 131 views, and of course it's basically showing the same thing, but I'm just showing a few, like a second or two of a video snippet to prove a point, which is incontrovertible. Okay, so in this video that you can even see on his, what you end up seeing are three birds flying across the water. And here we go.
Head and land. As it lands, it completely disappears from my line of sight.
Let me know when you can see us on spots of the horizon.
I got him.
And that was very, very short. You barely caught it. I mean, I pretty much had to put things in side by side, or
As it
top
lands,
and bottom, and replay it back over and over again where you could watch it. Good morning, John Sudlik. So I had to slow it down. I also had to do frame by frame so you could look at it. And the point is like, why would you fake it? If it's the truth, you don't need to do anything about it. You don't have to fake the truth. The truth is just there. You don't have to add layers to it. you don't have to edit a video. I mean, this is pretty much damaging as it is. Like basically what we are doing is scrutinizing the history that was told to us, taught to us, the equations that were shown to us, taught to us. We're just revisiting all that, and we're saying this doesn't add up. This is a little wonky. I mean, all of this sounded good, it looked good, but it's pretty interesting that we see it. A lot of people, they see it and they'll just say, it's this, it's that, whatever. They'll make an excuse for the authorities. Don't make an excuse for the establishment. They make an excuse for their slave owners, whatever you want to call it. But they'll make excuses for them. And it's like, I'm sorry. I do a lot of video editing. And this is one of them. But it's just pretty much showing exactly what they have frame by frame. And obviously, I know that they edited it. Because 3 birds don't fly across the water on a lake in exactly the same position. They just don't. I mean, heck, even the Blue Angels, they don't fly in the same formation patterns as good as these 3 birds do. And that's telling you something. I mean, these 3 birds must have really been wanting to join the Blue Angels. So maybe they're practicing, and we'll see what the Air Force says in Florida. But anyways, you get the idea. All right, why fake it? And it's very similar to just catching mistakes, and which is interesting how I got here is my career profession before ending my profession was as a quality assurance engineer. Now, here's this fun video, and what I'm going to show you is basically this guy, Stand Up Maths, excuse me, on March 13th, 2016, which is Pi Day, March 13th. There's a tradition where people calculate pi by hand. So this person had, there's various methods of doing pi. You can do approximations, or you can do how they've figured out how to calculate pi. And so he's doing it the way where you're adding it from every odd integer, so 1 over 1, 1 over 3, adding, subtracting. So 1 over 1 minus 1 over 3 plus 1 over 5. I think that's how it is. You get the gist. So he explains it pretty good, right? Yeah, right here. So, yeah. So he's adding it up, and this is kind of the end. And he's gonna he made a mistake, and he doesn't understand why he made that mistake. But I reviewed it, and I looked at it, and I found a mistake.
That's fine. And then the 3. So, as you can see, pi is exactly 3.0418. Pi, it turns out, is not 3.14 like you've been led to believe. It's actually 3.04. I should tell someone. Okay, look, here's the thing. I'm pretty sure I got the working out right. If I did make a mistake and it's in there somewhere, please let me know as quickly as possible so I can fix this video.
So I didn't see this until, what was it, yesterday? So look, here's my comment. The mistake occurred during the summing at sequence 4. It was correctly summed 0.8349 at the 12:58 mark, but it was for some reason changed to 0.7349 when it fast forwards to the 13-minute mark. 2 seconds difference where I had to catch it in an 18-minute and 39-second video. After that point, pi is off by 0.1. So here's 12.58.
Yeah, we're like halfway through.
See, 0.8349 at the sequence 4. And you'll see in a second, it's going to have like a 7 kind of written over the 8 for some odd reason after this edit.
Let's keep going.
See, here's that kind of 7. So for some reason, that 8 changed to a 7. And then, of course, all the summing up after that is just wrong. I mean, so, mistakes like that, when people, and that's why, you know, large part of math and science is checking and rechecking your work, and having other people check and recheck your work, and find out what the problem is. Have other people do the entirety of itself, and then is it the same or is it different? So, for example, if 100 people were calculating a pi by hand, they got 3.14, etc. Well, and one person got 3.0. I'm pretty sure everyone would check their work and say, okay, we found out what the problem was. I mean, we pretty much none of us made the same mistake. There might be other mistakes. There might be some that have mistakes further on down in the decimal aftermath, but otherwise, most of the people will most likely get it right by checking it, and that's what we're seeing with the entirety of Flat Earth. Is we're checking it and we're seeing all the mistakes that were made, and then we're questioning it and trying to find people, whether it's in government, whether it's in NASA, whether it's in people who are in these big universities, and we're just seeing just silence or pretty much malice or derision. And which Winston Churchill's quote, again, truth is incontrovertible, malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, there it is. And that is a good quote by Winston Churchill there about the truth, and the truth about the shape of the earth. And what we see is malice by the globe earthers, and we see a lot of ignorance. I mean, I could talk to pretty much any average Joe out in the real world, whether they follow flat earth or globe earth or not. I'll question them about how the establishment proved that the earth was a globe, and they'll probably say a couple words. There's photos of NASA, but where does NASA say that the earth was proven? What's the circumference of the earth? What's the radius of the earth that was calculated? And what was these 5 important assumptions in order to calculate the radius of the earth? And who was it? And all this stuff. And we'll find out, well, they don't really know. They can't remember because they haven't looked back. There's no reason for them to do it because they're just caught up in the system. And they'll just pretty much deride you and say, wow, what ridiculous is this? And they'll make assumptions of what you might believe in based off of that. So, yeah, meet your instructors, where you pretty much have to depend on what answers they give you, and they don't assume that you'll do it yourself. And if you do it yourself or ask questions about why that is that or this is this and how this doesn't really relate, they won't answer. They won't be there to take your call. It's a master class. It's a trickle down economics. Trickle down I don't know what you call it. Education. Is they'll tell you what you need to do, how you need to solve it, and if you have any questions, you can ask it, but they're not going to answer, or they'll answer, and it's pretty much going to be the same answer, boilerplate answer everyone else always gives. Okay, and that's it. Check out the Invicta video. Another channel that has hundreds of thousands of views. It may not be 1 million, but 574,000. Where they made this video July 31st, 2019. They, for some reason, had to chime in and reiterate the same points over and over, going back in history, right? And it's a good history lesson. And then, but you got to think, okay, they're talking about history. How did these people in the past know about that the Earth was a globe? And they did these tests, and you can repeat these tests, and yet with your normal eye vision, it's going to seem like, hey, the ship's disappearing like this. But get yourself a good pair of binoculars or a telescope, or even a camera that has good zoom lens, and you're going to see as it goes further out, oh wow, it's not like this, it's more like this. I don't get it. Is this camera zooming just kind of bending over, and they're going to say, oh, that's refraction. It's like, can it really refract that way? That doesn't make sense. They'll give you examples of refraction, and you're going to be like, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. I go, well, you obviously don't get it, therefore you're wrong. They're throwing away. I mean, it's so complicated that if you don't get it, they're gonna say, well, you're just too complicated for you. That's why you think the Earth is flat when it's obviously a globe. It's like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I guess it makes sense to you. I mean, if I make things more complicated for you, you know, obviously you don't understand things, right? So, for example, if I just told you to write a simple CSS script to make words pop up on the screen, just like when we'll go over to this, right? There's my name at the bottom left, right? Simple CSS script. I mean, it's simple. Oh, I'm sorry. It's complicated, but it's simple to me. It's complicated for you. Therefore, you don't understand anything. No, that's not the way it should work. So, I would say, study your history. Understand, from the mainstream point. Understand it through the historical point, the same point of view that you'll get from anyone else looking into it, and that would be through Google, and it'll be in the top results. Sorry, look at .gov sites, look at .edu sites, look at Wikipedia's, look at the social media sites. They're all going to tell you the same thing, but just looking at what they present to you, they're going to show you the story, the narrative, and just look into the narrative. That's all it is. It's just looking into the narrative that they present. The entire idea of conspiracy theories, and what's great is, oh man, I'm going to have to show you Consortium News, which is going to be live in about 3 hours. 2 hours. 2 hours, yeah. Hi, Ryan. How's it going? All right, so Ray McGovern, right?
To me.
Who is Ray McGovern? He's a retired CIA analyst, and let's see what he says about conspiracy theories. 433. Oh, wait, no, not that. 1445.
Get it out of the category of conspiracy theory. You know? Now, let me just say one word about conspiracy theory. In intelligence and in political matters, this expression drew incredible life from a fellow named Allen Dulles. Allen Dulles was the first big head, well, wasn't the first, but he was the big head of the CIA. And actually, there's evidence that Allen Dulles and CIA cronies, as well as military and other cronies, were involved in the assassination of John Kennedy. Okay? Now, after John Kennedy was assassinated, and they were putting together this Warren Commission, and Warren was, you know, titular head like Robert Mueller. Robert Mueller didn't seem to know what was in his report. I'm sure that Chief Justice Warren didn't know what was in his report either. Who did? Who did? Who was running that investigation? Allen Dulles. Now, when people said, you know, now, well, this is a little extraordinary. Allen Dulles is just cashiered by the president, right? And you don't do that to that kind of, you know, big shot. And people think, and there's reason to believe, that the CIA hated him so much that they took part in his assassination. So how can you justify Allen Dulles being on the Warren Commission, picking out the witnesses and arranging the whole thing? How can you justify that? You know what the response was? Conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theory. Come on. Hello, Dulles is very knowledgeable. He's a member of the establishment. He will make sure that the right thing is done here. And you people who criticize that are conspiracy theorists. That's when it was given a great big push of adrenaline. And today, it's down to today, it works with the media. And just to finish up on this, when we were composing our seminal memorandum on Russian hacking in quotes, the leak not in quotes, the one we put out on July 24, 19.
Anyways, you get the gist, and you can go and watch the rest at Consortium News. And straight from retired CIA analyst. So again, who are you gonna believe? There's someone who isn't from the CIA or someone who was from the CIA about conspiracy theories, starting out by the CIA from Alan Dulles. I mean, you take your pick. So yes, conspiracy theories. That's kind of the playbook of the establishment so far. You've got something, and you got some evidence, and they go, it's a conspiracy theory, and everybody else is going, oh, okay, it's a conspiracy theory. The authorities told us this, so therefore, it's true. And then you're just gonna go by the authorities telling you what it is, and that's it. Case closed. And then you look at it. You look at the established official narrative, and you dig into it, and you find a little bit of issues with it. It may not be much. It might be little things, but heck, even a little thing like calculating pi by hand and making one mistake out of probably a couple hundred numbers ends up being wrong. It's not the truth. It doesn't add up to what it's supposed to be from one little mistake. Now, you focus on the one little mistake, that could be huge. So yeah, I mean, mistakes are going to be found, because I'm sorry, if it's not the truth, you're going to find out it's not the truth, because there's just going to be parts of it that doesn't resonate correctly. You can't hide so many lies forever. Eventually it comes out. And then there's particular patterns that we see, and maybe you just have to play a lot of chess or something and just familiarize yourself with patterns. Once you recognize the patterns, you're going to see like, hey, this seems familiar to something else, and this seems familiar to something else, and you study those, and you go, Again, it feels like it's an establishment versus non-establishment saying what the truth is. So if they keep pushing the same pattern of conspiracy theories or malice and derision and etc., it makes you have to think. They're all connected somehow. What's the ultimate connection? Oh, people in power are lying. They want to control everything. They want to take everything and say it's good for you, and you're going to be like, okay, it's good for me. And then there you go. You go about your day, and therefore you're fine. And then all of a sudden you see people out there in the streets protesting. It's like, what are they protesting for? And it's like, hey, what are you protesting for? Oh, the earth is flat and we keep getting lied to, and we keep having to pay NASA to keep lying to us. It's like, I don't know about that. That sounds a little crazy. And then you go out someone else and someone's wearing a yellow vest. It's like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you protesting? Oh, we keep wanting to vote. We keep voting people in, and they keep saying the same thing to us, and we believe them, and then they outright lied, and we don't get what we want. So around the streets, we want to get what we want, what we've been promised, and they've not fulfilled their part. So we're sick and tired of the system. And you have other people going out and protesting. It's like, man, why are there so many people protesting? They must all just be crazy. Everyone in the world's going crazy. Why are they so protesting so much? What, the world ain't bad. I mean, yeah, everything's getting poisoned. Everything's going downhill. But I mean, it's not bad. I still can, go home, watch TV, eat junk food. And then they realize, oh wait, maybe that's part of the problem. Okay. Anyways, that's it for this video, and thank you for joining me. And Consortium News is in 2 hours, and also later on tonight we're going to have our Political Friday event, so we'll talk about politics, and a lot of old folks are probably excited about that. And I don't know what to title it. Maybe it's still on topic, but it's just called Politics Friday. I don't know, we'll figure it out. I mean, we're just gonna talk. So join us if you want to talk about politics, just because it's fun. All right, thank you, and I'll see everyone later.